If you've recently had a heart valve surgery, you've probably got a million questions running through your mind. But I'm willing to bet one of the biggest is about getting back to an active life. So today, that's exactly what we're going to dive into, how you can do it, and most importantly, how you can do it safely. This is it, isn't it? The big one, the question that hangs in the air after the procedure. You're feeling careful, maybe a little bit scared, and you're just wondering, is life ever going to feel the same again? You know, that's a totally normal thing to think, but I've got some really, really good news for you. Yes, 1,000 times yes. You can absolutely have an active life again. In fact, getting active is probably one of the best things you can possibly do for your recovery and your health down the road. So let's just push that fear aside and focus on how we're going to get you back out there with total confidence. Okay, let's just tackle the biggest myth head on. This whole idea that surgery sentences you to a lifetime on the couch, it's just plain wrong. Once you're through recovery and cardiac rehab, getting moving with some moderate physical activity isn't just a possibility, it's pretty much essential. And the reasons why are, well, they're huge. Of course, it strengthens your heart muscle and gets your circulation flowing better. But look at the other stuff. It actually helps reduce the risk of atrial fibrillation. That's that tricky, irregular heartbeat that can cause problems. And just as important, it does wonders for your mental game, helping you fight off that post-surgery stress by making you feel better and sleep better. It's the whole package.
Let me take just a few seconds to say that, if you'd like to support my project, you can offer me a symbolic coffee on Ko-Fi. You'll find the link below in the description. You can also check out my book, where I've gathered many experiences and useful tips. Every gesture means a lot to me and truly helps me keep this channel and the whole project going. And if you haven't done it yet, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and visit my website or blog for more content. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
So what kind of exercise are we talking about? Let's get to the good stuff. The green light list. These are the activities that cardiologists and physical therapists are giving the big thumbs up to for a safe and really effective recovery. Look at that. Fast walking gets 5 stars, and for good reason. It's the perfect foundation for getting back into a daily routine. It's easy, you can do it anywhere, and you're in complete control. Then, once your sternum is fully healed up, things like swimming and cycling are fantastic low-impact choices that are super kind to your joints. The real goal here is just to find something you actually like to do and build from there. Okay, now this is really, really important. While we've been talking about how good exercise is, it is a dangerous myth to think that any old exercise is good for you right now. Some kinds of physical stress can be seriously harmful after valve surgery, so you've got to know exactly what to steer clear of. First up, contact sports are a hard no. It's just not negotiable. Many people are on anticoagulants or blood thinners, especially with mechanical valves. And if you are, a hard fall or a collision in a sport like rugby or boxing could cause some really serious internal bleeding. The risk is just way too high. Next on the list, intense, heavy weightlifting. When you strain to lift your absolute max, it causes these massive, sudden spikes in your blood pressure. That kind of surge puts a ton of strain on your heart and on that brand new valve. Now, your doctor might okay some light weights for toning later on, but heavy powerlifting is definitely off the table. And finally, we've got to talk about things like high-intensity interval training, HIIT, and CrossFit. These workouts are super popular, but they're literally designed to push your heart rate to its absolute limit. That level of intensity is just too much for a heart that's healing. It could even trigger an arrhythmia or an irregular heartbeat. Slow and steady is the name of the game for you. All right, now let's talk about a risk that's a little less obvious, but just as important. I'm talking about isometric exercises. These are tricky because they look so simple, so static, but this is a category you absolutely have to understand to stay safe. So what in the world is an isometric exercise? It's actually really simple. It's any time you're tensing a muscle and just holding it in one spot. Think about pushing with all your might against a brick wall. Your muscles are on fire, but your arm isn't actually going anywhere. That sustained tension, that's the key. And I guarantee you've seen these before. The classic plank, that's a perfect example. Wall sits, oh yeah. Even just carrying a really heavy box and holding it still, that's isometric. It's any exercise where the whole point is to hold and squeeze instead of moving. And here is exactly why this is so critical. This represents the potential spike in your arterial blood pressure when you do an intense isometric hold. A 30 to 40% jump out of nowhere. That kind of sudden pressure cooker effect is precisely what you need to avoid to protect your heart. It's a silent stressor, and it can be incredibly dangerous. This brings us perfectly to our third and final myth. So many people hear the word yoga and they immediately think of gentle, relaxing stretching, which can be amazing. But the world of yoga is huge, and it is a big mistake to assume every type of yoga is safe for you right now. It's the perfect example of why the little details matter so much. I mean, you can see the difference right here. On one side, you have gentle, breathing-focused practices that are wonderful. But on the other, you have intense styles like power yoga or Bikram, hot yoga, which adds all that heat stress. The key is to pick something that's all about fluid movement and gentle stretching, not those long, strenuous isometric holds we were just talking about. So we've gone over a lot of do's and don'ts, but the single most important rule of all isn't on some list. It's about listening to your own body. After surgery, you have to become the world's leading expert on your body's signals, especially when it's trying to tell you something's wrong. And these are the big ones. These are the red flags you cannot, under any circumstances, ignore. If you feel your heart fluttering, if you get super short of breath, if you feel any chest pain or dizziness, or even if you just feel wiped out for hours after you exercise, your body is screaming, stop. Don't be a hero, stop what you're doing, and call your doctor. So what's the big takeaway here? It's really this. Let your breath be your guide. It's your body's built-in effort meter. If you can keep your breathing nice and steady and calm during an activity, you are probably in a good, safe zone. Just remember, an active life isn't over after heart valve surgery. Really, it's just the beginning of a brand new and much wiser rhythm.